Something extraordinary is moving toward you right now, something you didn't expect, something you didn't plan, something that will shift the entire trajectory of your life. Many of you have been praying, waiting, wondering, God, when will it be my turn? And I'm here to tell you today, your turn is closer than you think. God is sending someone into your life, someone equipped, someone positioned, someone blessed, someone wealthy in resources, wealthy in faith, wealthy in wisdom, to help carry you into the next chapter of your destiny. And you must be ready to move when God opens that door. Too many people spend their years believing they must climb every mountain alone. They think every battle must be fought by their own hands, every burden carried by their own strength. But God never intended for you to walk this journey isolated. All throughout Scripture, every major breakthrough in someone's life arrived through a person God sent. Moses had Aaron, David had Jonathan, Ruth had Boaz, Paul had Barnabas. God uses people strategic, prepared, and divinely equipped people to elevate you into a place you could not reach on your own. Some of you have been praying for a miracle, but God is preparing to answer with a person. Not just any person, someone whose presence alone lifts you higher. Someone whose faith stirs your faith. Someone whose resources unlock doors you could not open. Someone who believes in the calling on your life, even when you doubt yourself. Someone who says, I see greatness in you. Let me help you step into it. But before this person arrives, God must prepare your heart. Because if He sends them before you're ready, that the blessing could overwhelm you. Sometimes the reason for the delay is not that God has forgotten, but that He is developing you. You cannot stand in rooms of influence with a spirit of insecurity. You cannot walk with those who are strong while still believing you are weak. You cannot receive abundance while still thinking like someone who expects loss. God is not only sending someone into your life, He is shaping you into the person who can walk confidently beside them. There is a story of a young man who struggled for years trying to build a small business. He worked day and night, scraping what little he had just to survive another week. He prayed for provision, but every door seemed to close. One day, he met an older gentleman while waiting in line at a cafe. Their conversation was simple at first: weather, work, challenges. But something in the young man's honesty touched the heart of that gentleman. And without the young man even knowing who he was speaking to, he was talking to a man whose wealth had blessed thousands. The older gentleman eventually said, I believe in what you're trying to do. I want to help you. That one moment changed everything. A single conversation turned years of struggle into a future of opportunity. And that young man later said, had God sent him earlier, I wouldn't have been ready. My character wasn't mature enough. My faith wasn't steady enough. My heart wasn't aligned enough. Some of you right now are standing in that season of preparation. You may feel forgotten, but God is not ignoring you. He is getting you ready. You may feel stuck, but God is strengthening your foundation. You may feel overlooked, but heaven is arranging divine connections behind the scenes. God is preparing someone with the resources you need, someone with the influence you lack, someone with the heart to lift you out of the place you've been in for too long. But here is the question: when God sends this person, will you be ready to move? When God brings someone wealthy into your life, wealthy in finances, wealthy in opportunities, wealthy in spiritual maturity, you must be ready to walk by faith, not by fear. Wealth attracts responsibility. Opportunity demands boldness. Promotion requires discipline. If God is about to enlarge your territory, then He must first enlarge your mindset. Some of you have been praying for a blessing, yet speaking like someone who expects defeat. You say things like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. People like me never get ahead. That's too big for me. But hear this. The person God is sending into your life will not be connected to small thinking. They are coming to lift you, not to listen to your limitations. They are coming to invest, not to be drained. They are coming to build, not to babysit your doubts. You must rise to the level God is calling you to. There is a divine partnership on its way. The right person arrives at the right time for the right purpose. And when God sends someone wealthy into your life, it is not merely to elevate your lifestyle, it is to elevate your calling. Wealth is not only measured in money. Wealth is in wisdom, in connections, in vision, in spiritual strength. God is sending someone who sees beyond where you are. Someone who looks at your life and sees the future God placed inside you. Many of you will one day look back on this moment and say, that message was the confirmation. I didn't know who God would send. I didn't know when He would send them. But I felt the shift. I felt something changing. I felt preparation happening in my spirit. And you will remember that before God sends the blessing, He sends a word that prepares the heart to receive it. I want you to imagine for a moment what your life will look like when that person arrives. Imagine the opportunities that suddenly open. Imagine the burdens that suddenly lift. Imagine the clarity that floods your mind. Imagine the strength you feel when someone finally stands beside you and says, you don't have to do this alone anymore. There is someone out there right now whose obedience is tied to your breakthrough. Someone who has prayed, God, show me who I am meant to help. Someone who has been blessed abundantly and is asking God where to pour it. Someone who has walked through seasons of prosperity so they can guide someone who is about to walk into theirs. They don't know your name yet, but when the time is right, God will lead their steps straight toward you. The question is not whether God will send them. The question is whether you will be prepared enough to walk through the door they open. So stand firm in faith. Strengthen your character. Prepare your heart. Lift your expectations. Walk like someone who is about to be chosen. Pray like someone whose door is about to open. Praise like someone who already sees the miracle on the horizon. Because God is moving, God is aligning, God is positioning. And God is sending someone wealthy into your life, someone who will shift your direction and accelerate your destiny. Get ready to move. The season you've been waiting for is closer than you think. The blessing you've been praying for is already on its way. And the person God is sending is going to change everything. God is preparing to send a divinely positioned, wealthy helper into your life to elevate your destiny. And this truth carries more weight than many realize. For years, you may have walked through seasons where every step felt heavy, every door seemed locked, and every prayer felt unanswered. But in the unseen realm, God has been orchestrating a connection that will shift the entire landscape of your life. This helper is not coming randomly or accidentally. They are being guided, shaped, and prepared by God Himself for a mission that involves you. Just as God sent Joseph into Egypt long before his family ever needed rescue. Just as He positioned Esther in the palace before her people faced danger. And just as He prepared the Good Samaritan to arrive at the very moment help was needed. God is arranging the exact person who will step into your life at the precise moment when your heart, your character, and your faith are aligned for the next level. This person is wealthy not only in finances, but in influence, wisdom, experience, spiritual maturity, and courage. Wealth comes in many forms, and the individual God is preparing carries abundance in more than one area. They will not simply assist you with resources. They will bring clarity where there was confusion, strength where there was weakness, and strategy where there was uncertainty. You have been carrying dreams that felt too heavy for one pair of hands. You have been fighting battles that seemed designed to break you. You have been trying to move into your calling with limited tools, limited support, and limited opportunities, but God is sending someone whose abundance complements your calling, someone whose strengths cover your gaps, someone whose heart is shaped to give in ways others withheld, someone who will see the value in you that others overlooked or ignored. This helper will not be moved by jealousy, competition, or insecurity. They will be drawn to your purpose, not your performance. They will support your calling, not your comfort zone. They will feel a divine pull toward you, even before they fully understand why. The connection will feel natural, yet supernatural. It will feel unexpected, yet deeply aligned. God is weaving your paths together, and when this helper arrives, their presence alone will mark a turning point in your journey. You may not feel ready. You may wonder why someone so blessed, so equipped, so established would ever be sent to help someone like you. But that is exactly how God works. He chooses the unlikely. He lifts the overlooked. He sends support to those who have been walking faithfully in silence. You have prayed prayers no one heard. You have sown seeds no one saw. You have endured storms no one understood. And God has watched every sacrifice, every tear, every step. Now, He is preparing someone who will recognize what is inside you, someone who will speak life into what you thought was dying, someone who will honor what God placed in you even when others could not see it. This divinely positioned helper will arrive with purpose, and your life will not remain the same once their steps intersect with yours. Your season of preparation is necessary so you can handle the blessing God is about to release, and many people underestimate the depth of this truth. You may feel as if you are waiting longer than others, moving slower than others, or watching doors open for everyone except you. But what you cannot see is what God is doing behind the scenes, not only in your circumstances, but inside your character. Preparation is not punishment. Delay is not denial. Every moment you spend in the waiting season is shaping you into someone who can carry what God is preparing to place in your hands. If He gave it to you too soon, it might overwhelm you. If He opened the door before your foundation was steady, the blessing might crush you instead of lift you. God cares too deeply about your destiny to rush your development. In this season, He is strengthening parts of you that once felt weak. He is addressing insecurities you didn't know were still hiding within your heart. He is teaching you to trust Him beyond your emotions, to stand firm even when you feel shaken, and to believe His word even when your circumstances contradict everything you hoped for. Preparation often feels uncomfortable because it stretches you beyond the limits of your old identity. It forces you to release old habits, patterns, and thinking that cannot go with you into the next chapter. God knows what the blessing will require. He knows the level of discipline, spiritual maturity, emotional stability, and inner confidence it will demand. That is why your preparation is not random. It is targeted, intentional, and necessary. You may be asking God for elevation, but He is asking you to allow Him to refine you. You may be asking for doors to open, but He is asking you to deepen your roots so you can stand when the doors do open. You may be praying for increase, but He is developing responsibility within you so that the increase does not slip away through unprepared hands. The blessing you are waiting for is bigger than you think. The connection God is sending carries weight. The opportunities coming your way will require strength you are still in the process of building. This is why you sometimes feel stretched. This is why you sometimes feel isolated. This is why you sometimes feel as if God is silent. Preparation seasons often feel like lonely seasons because God removes distractions so He can work on you more deeply. And while you may feel unseen, you are more visible to heaven than ever. God sees your growth, your effort, your resilience, your obedience. He sees you resisting old temptations, choosing faith over fear, and continuing even when quitting felt easier. These choices are part of your preparation. Every no to what tried to pull you back is preparing you for the Yes, that will push you forward. Every time you chose patience over frustration, God was shaping your future self. Every time you picked faith over doubt, you were strengthening your spiritual muscles for the weight of the blessing ahead. Your heart is being trained to carry honor. Your character is being refined to carry responsibility. Your mindset is being expanded to carry abundance. And your spirit is being fortified to carry favor. The season you are in is not meaningless. It is molding you for the moment when everything shifts. Divine connections will open doors that your own strength could never unlock. And this truth becomes clearer the more you walk with God. There are places you are called to enter, opportunities meant for your name, and destinies designed specifically for you, but they require doors too heavy for one person to open alone. God, in His wisdom, often sends people as keys, people who carry influence, favor, and spiritual insight that align perfectly with what He has placed inside you. These connections are not accidental. They are orchestrated by heaven. Long before you arrive at a crossroads, God prepares someone whose steps, timing, and purpose will intersect with your journey at the exact moment you need them. These connections are not ordinary acquaintances or casual relationships. They carry the weight of assignment. Some of them have walked through seasons that shaped them to understand where you are going. Others have been blessed with opportunities, resources, or connections that you could never reach alone. And when God sends them, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Doors that were closed start to open, not because you forced them, but because someone with the right access placed their hand on the handle. You may have prayed for years for something to change, wondering why your efforts seemed unsuccessful. Yet with one conversation, one introduction, one moment with the right person, the path clears in ways your labor never could. There is a reason God teaches His people to value relationships. Destiny is rarely walked out in isolation. Throughout Scripture, every major move of God had a person standing in position to assist it. David had Samuel to anoint him. Joseph had the cupbearer to speak his name before Pharaoh. Elisha had Elijah to shape his calling. Even Jesus chose disciples to walk beside Him, demonstrating that divine purpose is often unlocked through human partnership. God uses people to elevate people. He sends someone who sees in you what others missed. Someone who recognizes your potential when you doubt yourself. Someone who carries answers to problems you've tried to solve for years. Divine connections also challenge you. They stretch you beyond your comfort zone and pull you into growth. They speak life into your spirit, but also provoke responsibility within you. They refuse to let you settle. They ignite something that has been dormant inside you. With them, you feel a sense of alignment, a knowing that this is not coincidence, but divine timing. Their presence accelerates your journey, not because you are incapable, but because purpose unfolds faster when the right people stand beside you. These connections also expose you to rooms you could never enter alone. You may have the gift, but someone else has the platform. You may have the vision, but someone else has the resources. You may have the calling, but someone else has the reach. When God weaves your life with theirs, the combination becomes powerful. Suddenly, ideas gain momentum, dreams turn into plans, and plans turn into reality. One introduction can shift your entire future. One partnership can turn a lifetime of waiting into a season of breakthrough. And perhaps the most beautiful part of divine connections is that they require no striving. You do not chase them. You do not force them. God brings them at the right time, in the right way, with the right purpose. When they arrive, there is peace, clarity, and confirmation. Your spirit recognizes what your eyes cannot fully see yet. You sense that God has placed this person in your life to unlock what you could not open alone. You must shift your mindset from limitation to expectation to receive what God is sending. because the posture of your mind determines the capacity of your life. Many people pray for blessings while holding on to beliefs that contradict what they are asking for. They speak faith with their mouths, but carry doubt in their thoughts. They ask for increase, yet still view themselves through the lens of lack. They desire open doors while expecting disappointment. And God, in His mercy, often delays what He wants to give simply because the mindset required to receive it has not yet been formed. The blessing is ready, but the belief system is not. The opportunity is prepared, but the mentality is still anchored to the past. Before God places abundance into your hands, He must transform the thoughts that limit what you believe is possible. When your mindset is shaped by limitation, every blessing feels too big, every opportunity feels too risky, and every step forward feels undeserved. You shrink yourself. You doubt yourself. You sabotage what is meant for you because your inner world has not caught up with what God is trying to release. A limited mindset whispers, "This is too much for someone like you. Don't expect too much or you'll be disappointed. People like you don't rise that high." These thoughts are not from God. They are the residue of old seasons, old wounds, and old voices. They cling to your spirit until you intentionally confront them. Transformation does not happen automatically. You must consciously replace limiting thoughts with faith-filled expectation. You must train your mind to believe that God's goodness is not reserved for others, but is also appointed for you. Expectation is powerful because it prepares a place for the blessing to land. It creates room in your heart for what God is sending. When you expect breakthrough, you behave differently. You speak differently. You plan differently. You wake up with anticipation instead of anxiety. You begin to see problems as temporary instead of permanent. You recognize delays as preparation instead of rejection. Expectation shifts how you interpret your entire journey. You stop asking, "Can God do it?" and start declaring, "God is already doing it." You stop thinking in terms of survival and begin thinking in terms of purpose. This shift in mindset also changes how you respond to new opportunities. When you expect God to move, you stop hesitating. You stop second guessing. You stop turning away from doors because they seem too big. Instead, you step forward with confidence, trusting that if God placed the opportunity before you, then He will also equip you for it. Expectation activates courage. It silences fear. It dismantles insecurity. It allows you to walk in rooms you once felt unqualified for because you understand that God opened the door, not your resume or reputation. A mindset of expectation aligns you with the people God is sending. Those who carry wealth of spirit, resources, and wisdom are drawn to those who think differently. They are attracted to vision, not victimhood. They see potential, not excuses. When your mindset is elevated, you naturally connect with people who operate on higher levels. You begin to speak the language of destiny. You move with clarity. You carry yourself with purpose. You release the small thinking that once kept you trapped, and you step into the identity God shaped for you. The shift in your mind becomes the signal to heaven that you are ready for what has been waiting for you. When God is preparing to shift your life, the signs begin long before the blessing arrives. Your spirit grows restless, not with fear, but with a quiet sense that something is changing. You begin to feel the stretching, the refining, the pulling away from what once felt comfortable. And though you may not see the full picture, yet you sense that God is aligning something greater than anything you've experienced before. The waiting feels different. The challenges feel purposeful. The silence from heaven feels less like distance and more like preparation. Deep inside, you begin to realize that everything you have walked through, every delay, every disappointment, every moment of wondering if God heard your prayers, was shaping you for what is coming next. There are blessings that require maturity before they can be released. There are opportunities that require stability before they can be sustained. There are people God wants to send into your life, but He holds them back until your heart is strong enough, your character is firm enough, and your mind is renewed enough to walk with them without fear, insecurity, or self-sabotage. What God is sending is not small. It is not temporary. It is not fragile. It carries weight, purpose, and longevity. And because of that, God has taken His time preparing you to receive it. You are stepping into a season where divine connections will begin to make sense. People you never expected will show up with answers you didn't know you needed. Doors you couldn't open with all your effort will swing open with a single conversation. The right helper will arrive at the right moment with the right resources to lift you into a higher place. This is not luck. This is divine orchestration. This is the fulfillment of prayers you prayed when no one was watching. This is the manifestation of what God promised long before you saw evidence of it. But even as God sends people to help elevate your life, the greatest transformation is happening within you. You are not the same person you were when you cried out for breakthrough. You have gained strength in the struggle. You have gained clarity in the silence. You have gained endurance in the delays. You have learned to trust God when nothing made sense. And that trust has become the foundation for everything He is about to do. Your mindset is changing. Your expectations are rising. You are beginning to believe again, to hope again, to see yourself through the lens of God's calling instead of the limitations of your past. And now the path before you is opening. What once felt impossible is becoming reachable. What once seemed out of your league is now aligning with your purpose. You are being positioned for divine appointments, divine opportunities, divine elevation. God is sending help, real, intentional, wealthy in every way that matters. And it will not just change your circumstances, it will change the direction of your entire life. The season ahead is not about surviving. It is about stepping boldly into what God has been preparing for you all along. The shift has begun. The alignment is happening. The blessing is approaching. And everything you have walked through has prepared you to receive it.